So I'm just going to end by talking about some of the resources that are available for you to find and best use some green products. The first is RPN. I would encourage you to check out our website, responsiblepurchasing.org. We have a newsletter. I encourage you to subscribe to that. Just follow that link on the left-hand side. We send out a quarterly newsletter, and we also send out periodic updates on webinars that we're running, interesting news stories, and things like that. And calculators are a really important tool. I hear some giggles in the audience. Alicia just mentioned she just spoke about tracking and reporting. And without proper environmental cost calculators, that's going to be really difficult to do. And so we have plenty of calculators on our website, but there are also plenty of others that are out there. So what we do is we look for ones that exist out in the world there. There's a great EPEAT calculator for calculating the environmental benefits of greener computers and other types of greener electronics. There's recycled paper, which I'm going to talk about in a second. But when those don't exist, we try to make our own. We made one for remanufactured toner cartridges, bottled water, hybrid vehicles, and more. Most of them are available for free on our website. So if you're running into calculation problems, go visit our website. And here's a snapshot from our bottled water calculator. This is a really great tool. This is taking assumptions that came out of a fabulous report from the I'm going to forget the name of the report now, but it's from an organization that looks at the embedded energy of bottled water, and they came to it from a water pollution perspective. And so they came up with this report that has the embedded energy of bottles of water, and I put in some round numbers here. Let's say your department or agency buys 10,000 bottles of water every year. And here is the impact that purchase, or that bulk of purchasing has. There's a water impact. It sounds a little funny, but it actually takes water to treat water, about 3-to-1 ratio actually, depending on the types of purification systems that they're using. So by switching to a tap system, you're saving 3,000 gallons of water in that purchase alone. Over 1,800 pounds of carbon dioxide equivalent, so there's your carbon impact. And more importantly, it's a whole heck of a lot cheaper not to use bottled water than it is to buy bottles of water. And this doesn't include any of the costs for any water infrastructure upgrades you might need to do, like bottleless coolers or drinking fountains, but it just demonstrates the fact that bottled water is very overpriced and has an environmental price tag too. Here's a calculator. It's not ours. It was created by the Environmental Defense Fund, and it's now it's on its own website right now, but we link to it on our website. And this is a really great tool for calculating the environmental impact of paper. And so I put in another round number here, 1,000 pounds of virgin paper, so there's no post-consumer recycled content. Actually, does anybody know the difference between post-consumer and pre-consumer recycled content? The difference is that pre-consumer recycled content is materials that are recovered from the manufacturing process and then reused. And post-consumer content is material that's recovered from end users. Like when you go to buy paper and you use it in your office, you put it in the blue bin, recycling bin, that becomes post-consumer content when it goes and is reused into other paper. So that's the best. And so this is this transition from 0 to 100% post-consumer recycled content in your paper. This calculator will actually give you the environmental benefits. And I've only included the top 5 here. They have about 24 when going to specific things like different types of sulfur dioxide emissions and other type of oxides and other particulate matter emissions. I've included here wood use, energy use, greenhouse gas emissions, all associated by a more efficient recycled content product. And what I like about this calculator actually is that it equates 2 tons and tells you what that means. So it's about 13 trees. So if you take your department's recycled content purchases, put them in this calculator, you can go back and say, hey, we saved 1,000 trees this year by switching our paper to 30% recycled content or 100% recycled content. Really puts it down into terms that are easy to understand. A couple other resources I want to talk about. One is our trends report that we do regularly. It's an assessment of our members and kind of a snapshot of what they're doing, what are the problems that they're having in green purchasing. I spoke about eco-labels a lot earlier, so I included a question we ask about them, about the ones that they recognize and utilize. 99% of our members know what Energy Star is. That's the most common one. But some of the real up-and-coming ones are EPEAT, like I mentioned before, and the CRI Green label. Has anyone heard of that? Maybe a show of hands. That's the Carpet and Rug Institute. They look at carpets and different types of adhesives from a low indoor air quality impact. But yeah, we have a lot of those on there. And one thing that we asked in our trends report actually was, are you publishing a report on your green purchasing? One thing we like to encourage our members to do is to brag about themselves, not just so they can get a good pat on the back, but because other people can learn from them too. And so we're finding that a lot of folks, even though they're leaders in green purchasing, still aren't publishing annual reports to document in a public way the benefits of their green purchasing program. So we went ahead and created a model responsible purchasing report. And this document comes in two forms, as a template document and a guidance document. The guidance document gives you best practices step-by-step on creating this type of public report. And the template document makes your job even easier by giving you model language you can literally copy and paste just to get you started and kind of playing around with a reporting system for you to do publicly about your green purchasing. Some more resources that we offer before I start talking about other ones are, we have regular webinars about once a month. Some of the ones we've had in the past are climate protection, compostable food serviceware. We have a new green buildings initiative that we're working on for the next year. So part of that was a water efficiency webinar we had in November, and then a green buildings webinar we had last September. And some of the ones we have coming up are cleaners, office supplies, purchasing for LEED. Actually, I heard someone talking about carbon impact in the audience a little earlier. We have one next month with Green E. They have a really interesting new label that is going to be an on-product label for products that are made manufactured with 100% renewable energy. So if you're looking at ways to cut the carbon impact of the products you're buying without buying some expensive LCA software, that's an interesting way to mitigate that impact, is to buy a product that's made with renewable energy. So that one's going to be coming up in a month, and we'll be advertising those in our newsletters and also on our website. And we also advertise plenty of events that are going on. If you have any that you want us to promote, just zip us an email. We also have some Bay Area resources. We have a page on our website that's just focused on the San Francisco Bay Area. We have some videos that people have done, some resources that people have done, trainings we've done locally. We have policies for all the cities and counties that have them here in the Bay Area. So if you're curious to know what your next door neighbor does in terms of their green purchasing policy, you can check that out online. And there are other resources other than ours that are really fantastic as well. I encourage you to look at EPPNet if you haven't done that yet. This is an online email forum. Basically, it works just like any other Q&A forum, where someone will say, hey, I'm going out to bid on low VOC carpet in the Midwest region. Has anyone else around me done this? Do you know any vendors I can look at? Do you have any best practices we can do? Take-back programs. It's a way for purchasers to interact with each other, ask some questions in a safe space. And it is a safe space because it's not available for vendors. It's really just purchasers and sustainability staff getting on board with EPPNet. Another one, I think Alicia mentioned this earlier, is the San Francisco's SF approved list. These are products that are all in compliance with San Francisco's precautionary purchasing principle, and they have them listed online. They say which ones are available for you to purchase. Another really useful tool if at the end of the day all you want to do is see what a green product looks like, what types of products are available down to the specific type. The National Association of Counties also just created a green purchasing toolkit that RPN helped out in creating. You can look at that at uscounties.org and follow the link there. And I think these slides are going to be available too, so you don't have to copy down that long HTML. Finally, we're on the social media. If you want to connect with RPN, we have our LinkedIn group there, and boy, that's a long HTML, so I would probably just wait to click on that as opposed to trying to enter that long thing into your internet browser. But that's another place for purchasers to interact. We actually have almost 600 people in our LinkedIn group, just people asking questions, promoting events about green products or different types of specific issues. We also tweet and are on Facebook as well. If you want to follow us on that, we would certainly appreciate that.